Greetings, everyone. My name is Jonathan Bailey. I am from the website Plagiarism Today, which can be found at plagiarismtoday.com. And today we're going to do another special edition of the Copyright 2.0 show where I once again attempt the master's feat of covering 7 copyright stories in 7 minutes. That's right, a week's worth of news, 7 days, covered in 7 stories, which I will tell to you in 7 minutes. If you sense a pattern, congratulations, you're a fully functioning human being and you deserve 7 cookies. No more, no less. On that note, though, I think we should be getting this party started right now. My goal, by the way, is to be done with all 7 stories by the time this counter reaches 0. Wish me luck, because we are starting the counter now. The big news this week actually comes from Grooveshark, and it's suffering a major setback in its lawsuit against the labels. Now, obviously, Grooveshark has had multiple lawsuits involving both state and federal cases. The state case is dealing with pre-1972 sound recordings, but this one is in the federal case. Now, Grooveshark, for those who don't know, is sort of like a YouTube for audio, or at least that's what it claims to be. Basically, it's a place where users upload tracks, and then other people can come and stream it like YouTube does with video. The problem is where most people upload silly cat videos to YouTube, most people upload copyright infringing songs to Grooveshark, and Grooveshark's been able to build something like a Spotify clone without actually paying, royalties and stuff. Well, the result of that is the record label's obviously quite cross about this suit. Now, Grooveshark always claimed that it respected the DMCA and would remove infringements expeditiously when notified. The problem being that those tracks would just reappear almost immediately. So this led to a bit of a back and forth. However, the record labels discovered that some of the tracks, especially in the beginning of the site, were uploaded by Grooveshark employees and its founders, specifically 5,977 tracks, and to that end, the judges issued a ruling of summary judgment that those tracks are indeed infringing, setting up Grooveshark for what is almost certainly millions in damages in the case. So, big setback for Grooveshark in its long-running legal battle to stay open. Speaking of long-running legal battles, the Turtles, or specifically Flo and Eddie from the Turtles, have scored something of a victory against SiriusXM in their ongoing battles. Going back to that pre-1972 sound recording, those do not enjoy federal copyright protection, so therefore there's a lot of confusion about how modern copyright law, especially things like royalties and DMCA protection, apply to them. Well, SiriusXM doesn't pay royalties to the sound recordings for the sound recordings of pre-1972 works. As a result, Flo and Eddie and many other, now the labels too, are suing them for those royalties. Well, Flo and Eddie actually managed to score something of a victory when a federal court agreed that the California law actually does protect the right to have the public performance right in music. Therefore, the streaming and the performing of those songs is an infringement. But Flo and Eddie didn't waste a lot of time. Even though SiriusXM is still promising to appeal that verdict, they went ahead and sued Pandora, even though the first case is long from done, because who just needs one lawsuit on their plate anyway? Well, while we're on the subject of lawsuits that are not over, even though it feels like they should be, a judge has made a minor modification to the $48 million verdict against MP3 Tunes and its founder, Michael Robertson. Michael Robertson and MP3 Tunes. MP3 Tunes was a site that allowed you to quote-unquote sideload audio from other sources, usually infringing FTP sites. The record label sued, won this huge verdict, $48 million. It included $41 million in statutory damages and $7.5 million in punitive damages over some of Robertson's behavior. And by the way, Robertson was found personally liable in addition to his company. Now, the judge has left the $41 million statutory verdict, but dialed back the punitive damages from $7.5 million to $750,000, taking it down to just about a $42 million verdict from $48 million. Still not exactly a huge win for MP3 Tunes. Lady Gaga has turned the tables on a songwriter who sued her. You might remember sometime recently, Rebecca Francescatti, I believe that is, sued her, saying that Lady Gaga's song Judas bore an overly close resemblance to her song Judah. Francescatti lost the lawsuit, and now Lady Gaga's going after her for $1.4 million in legal bills she said she incurred unfairly. Obviously, Francescatti, I'm still not sure how to say that, Francescatti is not too happy about this, and that case is ongoing as we speak. And another interesting lawsuit, this one a brand new one, a photographer has sued the image sharing service Imgur over what it says was non-comply with DMCA notices. Basically, the photographer said he sent a DMCA notice for some 70 plus works which were not removed even after 200 days from the site. Interesting fact, though, about this case, it does not appear he did any follow-up. Basically, he uploaded it, and when they didn't come down, he just, sort of shrugged his shoulders rather than sending a repeat DMCA notice. So, new lawsuit there, maybe testing some safe harbor issues that we need to keep on top of. Also, this week, Google has stopped displaying news from several German publishers that sued it. Stopped displaying snippets of news from German publishers that sued it. Now, Germany recently passed the quote-unquote Google tax law, which basically says that search engines and other similar entities have to pay newspapers and publishers for the privilege of displaying snippets of their content. Google, obviously not too pleased about this, basically kept doing what it did without paying, assuming that if the newspapers wanted their content removed, they would, do the myriad of things that these websites can do to remove their content. Well, these newspapers decided to, these publishers, I should say, sued Google over it, demanding their money. And then, in response, Google has deleted the snippets. Now, if you search for anything by these publishers, you will find the headline and a link to the article, but no actual snippet of text. And wrapping it up this week, we have a new law that took effect in the UK. It was actually passed some time ago. It makes a lot of activities that were already pretty common in the country now completely free and legal. Those activities include, most notably for consumers, the ripping and sort of copying for personal use of CDs and DVDs. This makes it legal to rip your CDs in iTunes, store them in a cloud environment, etc., etc., etc. And it also but it still makes it illegal, by the way, to take those copies and give them to people. You are not allowed to transport, sell, or otherwise use those copies and for anyone else. They are just for you. So that's item one. Item two is that parody is now legal within the country. You can do mashups and remixes and so forth. As long as humor and lampooning is your intent, you are now free and clear in the United Kingdom. Parody, of course, has been long respected as a fair use offense here in the United States, so it's not a new concept to us, but it obviously was fairly new to the law in the United Kingdom. Obviously, both of these things have been going on pretty much unchecked for quite some time in the UK, but now they are formally legal in the books. And that is the end of the 7 stories with a whopping 18 seconds left. Not bad. I could kill 18 seconds right now, and I think I will, by telling you thank you very much for joining us. This has been a special episode 3 of the Copyright 2.0 show, and I hope to see all of you guys next week.